All right, I'm going to cover a little bit about business ethics and security laws. First of all, when we talk about business ethics, a lot of people think, oh, this is an oxymoron, that businesses are inherently unethical. Not true. I think it's important to understand the motivations that are behind different forms of business. Certainly with corporations, they are like much like a machine. Their primary function historically has been to maximize shareholder value. Now, this could be done in a very socially conscious way, and you'll see a discussion on your website about this concept of conscious capitalism, which isn't really anything new. That this is where the concern is not simply with the stockholders being the owners of the corporate entity, but also with the stakeholders, the customers, the vendors, the environment, things like that. Conscious capitalism is a kind of a new version of what has been occurring in other countries, including Japan, and championed by the founder of Whole Foods and other businesses. You'll see there's quite a bit of discussion on that concept. It's very interesting perspective and something that should be examined. But there are different views about business ethics, and I have a number of resources on your website discussing business ethics. It really just boils down to, in my opinion, a matter of personal values, and the importance of treating other people as you would want to be treated. So, take a look at those different perspectives. A little bit about securities law. First of all, this is a very specialized area of law. Lawyers have to be specially licensed to be security lawyers. I'm not, so I'm going to give you just a general overview. A lot of the security laws that are discussed in your book go back to the Depression, 1933-34 vintage. These were intended to prohibit banks from doing certain things that caused the Depression. Some of these have been repealed, like Glass-Steagall law has loosened things up, and some people argue contributed to the mortgage meltdown in 2008. But I think it's important to understand what a security is. A security is not simply stocks and bonds. It can be negotiable instruments. Anything where you're investing in a company. And there are, so it's first of all important to understand what a security is, because if you are a business person, you're trying to raise money, you're issuing promissory notes, stock, whatever, you should know about securities law. There are state and federal regulations on securities. States were the first to regulate securities. They called them blue sky laws because people who were gullible would invest in the blue sky. And so these laws are really meant as investor protection laws. And if you're going to invest in a company, you should look at the prospectus, which is required under law for the company to identify who the leadership is and how the money's used, things like that. Your book talks about insider trading. This is an area where it's kind of interesting in the sense that a lot of people think this is how Wall Street operates anyway, on insider information. But there are significant penalties for trading on insider information. A famous case is the Martha Stewart case. No, she wasn't actually convicted of insider trading, but she was convicted of lying to the SEC and the FBI. And that's really what caused her to go to jail. So be aware of what insider trading is. For those of you that are going to be CPAs or pursue any accounting degree, you need to be aware of SOXUS, Sarbanes-Oxley law. That impacts publicly traded companies. You have to have independent auditing committees. The CFO and the CEO need to vouch for the financial reports, things like that. just be aware of all that. There's a great video I have for you on your website.